Hello everyone and welcome to Soul Stained Ink. My name is Beth, and for today's video I thought I would give you a quick update on what I've read so far this year. I have finished 7 books, am halfway through book number 8, and have a couple I want to start this week. So let's just get into it. By Sarah J. Maas. I read book 1, House of Earth and Blood. I had originally tried to read this when it first came out and completely DNF'd it at chapter 6. And if you have read it or attempted to read it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I was very perturbed. But a very good friend of mine read all of Maas's books and encouraged me to go ahead and see past that section and to just keep going. And she said if I got to chapter like 11, 12 and still wanted to DNF it, then she would be mad at me, but like it would be fine, right? Well, I got further on and really wanted to continue reading it. I finished it and gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Yeah, I can't really go into much detail, but basically we are following Bryce Quinlan, who is part Hello Whiskey, who is part Fae and living in Crescent City, where she went to college. And at the beginning of the book, we meet her best friend, who is a shifter. She's a wolf shifter, and the alpha of her pack, who is the pack of devils, and Danica, and then her second in command, Connor, run the pack of devils. And there's a lot going on. They're like seen as party people, and they let everybody think that they're partiers, but there's a whole lot under the surface. And then the unthinkable happens, and Bryce ends up being left mostly on her own. And the story unfolds from there. So while I still am not happy with what happened, I did complete the book and enjoy it. Sadly, I don't have it to hold up for you because most of these were audiobooks that I completed going back and forth on my trip to school, but I will put a cover here. The next book that I completed, also on audio, was Mrs. Wickham by Sarah Page. This is a short, I listened to it on Audible and it's only from Audible, but it is a short novella, I guess, that talks about Lydia from Pride and Prejudice and how it's written in first person, like she's writing you a letter. So we've got her talking to us about how her life is and how terrible Wickham is and how she figured out what a philanderer he is. And then it just slowly unfolds her story. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. It was okay. The epistolary style of this was fairly well done. But considering the fact that it was supposed to be written as a letter, she keeps saying like you, and I'm hoping you'll understand. I'm hoping you'll be my friend. It felt more like I don't know, it wasn't diary entries and it wasn't writing to a dear friend. It was writing to someone she would hope might be a friend, and detailing her story. And I don't know. And Wickham has a redemption arc, and I wasn't pleased with that. Anyway, I will again put the image of the book there. Like I said, it was decently written. I enjoyed the audio of it. Just a 3 for me, though. The next book I read, I actually both read physically and via some audio. And before I show you the book, please don't freak out. My dog is only 6 months old. I freaked out on her. The book is still very easily readable. She did not destroy any of the pages. The cover, on the other hand, apparently smelled real good. But this is Wayside School Beneath the Cloud of Doom by Louis Sakar. And I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. Now, this was released in 2020, so definitely been a minute since a new Wayside Story came out. And it's good. It's a solid like 3.5 stars for me. But the original stories are amazing. And this, while it felt great, was also definitely, he's written more, he's done more. And they just, for me, did not quite have the same feel as the original books. And that could be that there's such a nostalgia in the original books because I read them when they came out, and then I've read them to many a class, including my junior high school students who really enjoy sometimes just having me read them something that's familiar and easily digestible. Apparently, the physical copies are easily digestible as well. Because anyway, moving on from that, I did give it a 3 out of 5, but it is a good book. It just didn't quite hit like I wanted it to. Speaking of hits, though, the next book I completed in 2024 was House of Sky and Breath, the second book in the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas. And the hits were all throughout this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. There were parts of it that just felt too distant from what the first book was, although I do understand that we needed them. And then the end of this book just smacks you in the face. The next book in the series is coming out at the end of January. We've got 9 days until it releases. And I will be driving home, I think. No, maybe it comes out Monday the 29th. No, Tuesday the 30th. I will have just gotten home and be driving to school Tuesday morning listening to this, unless they do a release early, in which case I will be listening to it early. I have a conference to go to over the weekend, and I am hoping that Audible listeners will get an early access, although I don't actually know that the audio will be released early. Oh no, I'm just ready for the book. Okay, let's give you a little picture of it right here, and we'll just move on. Next, I finished Five Children and It by E. Nesbitt. That was our January Classic Children's Literature Book Club book pick. And unfortunately, the two of us that I know for a fact have read it at this point in the month both did not like it. I gave it a 3 on Goodreads, but it's more 2.5, 2.75-ish. I believe Fiona gave it a 2. And we will do a video discussing the feelings on that. However, basically, this book was written in, I want to say published in 1900, 1901, 02, somewhere in there. And definitely feels as though, I'm sorry, 1902. It has never been out of print since 1902. And it feels as though the children reading it in 1902 would have probably enjoyed it, but it just felt very preachy and boring, and there's magic involved, and we could have done more, but they didn't. The 5 siblings did not really feel like siblings who knew each other super well, and just the whole situation didn't work well for me. And it does show like a change in Victorian, like a change over from Victorian literature, and that's great, but that's about all there is great about it. Anyway, I'm not gonna continue rattling on. Didn't enjoy it, but it is very short, and I like the movie. So there you have it. Now, the final 2 books I have to talk about were both completed this weekend, actually today, and much better than Five Children in It. So the first one was The Bad Luck Lighthouse by Nikki Thornton. This is the second in the Seth Seppi mysteries. And Elena and I read both of them over the last few weeks and very much enjoyed them. I can't tell you much about The Bad Luck Lighthouse. However, the first book in the series, which is The Last Chance Hotel, we meet Seth. Seth Seppi discovers that A, magic exists, and B, he might be magical or related to magic, and C, his cat can talk, and D, somebody died, and it might have been him, but he doesn't think that caused the murder, but he doesn't think he did. So then, whilst discovering magic and that his cat can talk and all of these other things, he winds up helping to investigate this murder. It is a fabulous book. We really enjoyed it. And then we discovered that, yes, in fact, there are more. And so we just moved right into The Bad Luck Lighthouse, where Seth finds himself moving on to a lighthouse where he again is helping to solve some mysterious murders having to do with magic. Now, there is a third one called The Cutthroat Cafe, and we have not started that yet, but we certainly intend to. Along with that, Nikki Thornton has a couple of other books that have come out with Nightshade the Cat as one of the main mystery solving characters. And so we are definitely going to try to be reading all of the Nikki Thornton books. Cannot recommend it enough. Gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. The final book that I completed so far is The Fatal Folio by Elizabeth Penny. This was a buddy read with Fiona from over at Reads and Eats. And we have buddy read all 3 of the books in this series. This is the Cambridge Bookshop series. And we follow Molly. Molly was originally from, I want to say Vermont, but she and her mom moved to Cambridge in order to help her great aunt. Her mom was originally from England, and they moved to Cambridge to help her great aunt in the family bookstore. And ever since then, Molly just keeps stumbling across mysteries. One of the things that I love about Elizabeth Penny's writing, in this series anyway, we haven't started any of her other ones, although I believe Fiona and I are going to be buddy reading some during March Mystery Madness. Look for a lot of announcements for that coming in the next few weeks. But I believe we're going to be continuing on and reading more of Elizabeth Penny's work during March. However, in this series at least, she makes the characters very relatable, and it is wonderful to read a cozy mystery that doesn't seem like things are just kind of falling into place, and that a lot of the times the relationships have like huge misunderstandings and they fall apart and then they get back together and everything's fine. In this one, Molly and Kieran, who is her other half, her boyfriend, there's anxieties and little mix-ups and kind of snipping at each other like a normal relationship. But then they talk about it. They fix it. She'll make a little comment and he'll be like, oh no. And you see, and it's wonderful not to have that crazy third act breakup along with everything else. It's not that everything is smooth. It's that it reads more like real life. And I very much enjoy that. However, the next book I want to start is not going to read like real life because it has a little bit of witchiness in it. So this week I want to read Stephanie Holmes's A Dead and Stormy Night. It is book 1 in the Nevermore Bookshop series. I've put this on so many TBRs and have not even started it yet. But I really want to. So it says, this is, what do you get when you cross a cursed bookshop? 3 hot fictional men and a punk rock heroine nursing a broken heart is the tagline on the back. And I want to know. So I definitely want to get this one started this week. And then I also want to pick up Pilar Ramirez and the Escape from Zaffa by Julian Randall, or Julian Randall. And the back of this says, speaking of things not making sense, let me bring it back to the day my whole life changed. I woke up one morning in Chicago and went to sleep that night on a magical island. So these are the two books that I am going to try to read this week. Like I said, I am going to a conference this weekend. I will be leaving on Thursday. It's about a 6-hour drive. And then Thursday evening, all day Friday, all day Saturday, and until lunch on Sunday will be filled with the English Language Arts Teachers Conference going on. But I do think that I'll be taking at least one physical book, and then obviously I'll be listening to audiobooks on the drive there and back. I haven't decided what I'm taking yet, though. One of my favorite middle grade authors is going to be there and be doing a luncheon. So I'm waiting to hear back from them because I don't know if I bought a ticket or not. So I had to email them and go, if I didn't buy a ticket for the luncheon, I want to buy a ticket for the luncheon. Call me Alexander, please. Thank you. And I haven't received a response yet. So hopefully I can get ticket for that and be able to be in there for his luncheon. But either way, we've got many wonderful authors that are going to be there, and I'm probably going to end up picking up some books from them as well. So we'll see what happens. I'll probably be doing a book haul early next week. But that's all I've got for you guys today. This has been a much longer video than I typically do, but I hope that you've enjoyed it. As always, if you've read any of these or want to read any of these or have any comments, please come chat to me. I cannot wait to hear from you. Until I talk to you again, though, stay safe out there.